Hey everybody, Chuck Nice here, and I just want to let you know that we have a 2022 survey that I need you to fill out. It's going to help us get to know you a little better. It's going to improve our content, and it will help us pick the right advertisers that'll keep us going in 2022 and beyond. It'll only take about 10 minutes for you to fill out, and one of you will be chosen to receive a Cosmic Queries book signed by the man himself, Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. You can find the survey at our website, startalkradio.net. Go ahead, fill it out. You won't be sorry.
This is Star Talk, Cosmic Queries edition. And if it's going to be Cosmic Queries, we're probably going to have Chuck Nice in the house. Chuck,
Yes.
good to have you always.
Chuck Nice, your personal nothing.
I'm your personal astrophysicist.
You're the personal astrophysicist, making yourself available for people all across the cosmos. I am your personal nothing, which
you
means
are my
leave me the hell
Lord.
alone.
You are Lord Chuck. Here we go.
Lord Nice.
Duly designated by a general in the U.S. Air Force. All right, Lord Nice, you got questions for you. This is the beginning of the year. A third year of the pandemic. So a lot of people are bummed out. But how much longer must we endure? But a new year, of course, is always a time for sort of thinking fresh thoughts and possibly putting a positive spin on bad things and just putting positive out there at all, whether or not it's a spin on something bad. So maybe I'll try to give positively tinted answers to every question you have. Because it's otherwise just a grab bag, right?
Let's be real, though. I mean, when do you ever give a truly negative answer? Where it's just like,
true.
Dr. Tyson, I would like to know about time dilation. Well, dumbass. It's like you're never negative.
No, that's true. No, I'm not negative. That's true. So, but I can do a little extra. We'll see. Bring it on.
I like that. This is the time of year to do that. So you're absolutely right.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, how about Sean Grossman? Let's see what Sean Grossman is saying here. It doesn't say where he's from, but he says, hey there, Dr. Tyson. What do you think our first contact with alien life will be? And how will it be received? And I think by received, he means like, how will it come to us? Not how will we respond to it?
Okay. So I have to stay positive here.
Right off the back, it's a challenge. First question is challenging the positivity.
I really have to stay positive. The aliens would ask us,
what is
do you prefer to be boiled or sauteed?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, Happy New Year. Wait, 12:02. Well, there goes the positivity. Wow.
So I think, I've said this before, but let me say it with precision in this moment. I think the evil alien trope, which is in so many films, I think all of them except for E.T., maybe, all right? I don't know.
Right.
They're always evil and they want to harm us. Right. And that is not derived from... it's what we think aliens will do to us.
So we're projecting that onto aliens.
Well, we think that's what they do, but it can't be based on that because we don't know anything about the aliens. But what we do know is ourselves.
Uh-oh.
And I think those scenarios are based on not what we think aliens would do to us, but based on what we know we would do to ourselves. Because we've already done it. The issue is you have a high technology civilization encountering a low technology civilization. And it has never boded well for the low technology civilization among humans. So I think these are projections. These are mirrors to our own conduct without us even knowing it. So let me take a different tack and say, maybe the aliens are better than us. Maybe they have no reason to be evil or to take our resources here on Earth because the universe is full of resources. There's nothing special that Earth offers that they can't get elsewhere. So they can't be looking for that. And so maybe they just want to make friends with us. And just, you know, it's
break
like
out the M&Ms
down the street.
Break out the M&Ms and the Reese's Pieces. We're going to make some alien friends.
And give them a sugar dependence.
Right.
They have diabetes.
Right. Well, now, but what about this? Just to dovetail into the question. What if the aliens are so advanced that what we perceive to be evil, they perceive to just be the fact that we're insignificant? So, not perceived. Let me say, what we perceive to be evil is.
Question?
Huh?
Is this your question?
No. This is kind of an extension of Mr. Grossman's question.
No,
Sean,
you're lying. You're lying.
I am lying. This is my question.
You're lying.
Hey, look, I gotta slip them in when I can.
That's a good one. We'll take it as an add-on to
as an addendum. Okay,
customers' question.
Right.
The Patreon members.
The Patreon addendum. That's it.
Because if you're walking down the street and you step on a worm,
right,
you don't want all the worms thinking you're an evil person who hates worms. It was just kind of inadvertent, right?
Yeah. I mean, worms mean nothing to you.
Yeah. So, but then why would they spend all that effort to come to Earth? See, I think we're allowed to ask that question. Because if they are, it's like, because you're not going to say, let me drive 1,000 miles and then step on worms in the lawn of a stranger. This is not, this. So.
That's funny. That's pretty funny. Where you going? Arizona? Why? Gotta kill a scorpion. I gotta kill a scorpion. You're driving to Arizona to step on a scorpion?
It's by accident. Yeah. Okay.
Right, yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a good point. But I don't see them coming this far for that reason. Right.
Okay.
And yeah. So maybe they just want to, be friends with us.
Right.
That's all.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay. I like that.
So
and once
that's
again,
how I think about it.
And guess what? You did it. You stayed positive. Everything was positive.
But one other positive thing. I have a negative positive thing. You ready?
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
If the alien says, take me to your leader.
Right.
Take them to a scientist anywhere.
Right. Don't take them. Right. Whatever you do, don't
take him to the head of any country,
right?
Or any. Now, is this a bias I have? It's just a bias. I don't want a politician to be the first encounter with an alien. I kind of don't want that because politicians can't get along with each other.
Right.
How we think they get along with aliens, whereas scientists get along with each other internationally and have done so ever since there's been science. So if there's a chance of kind, considerate exchanges that might have some way to even communicate, all right? They're not going to be speaking English or Mandarin or Spanish or Swahili or Urdu. No, they're speaking none of that.
They speak
octopus. They might have a periodic table. They might have a periodic table of elements that you can compare it with, or Pythagorean theorem. There'll be some rudiments of cosmically common communication.
Okay.
That we might be able to invoke. And be the first ones to say hi.
You can also take them to Oprah.
Oprah? Okay.
Yeah. Clearly that works.
Yeah.
I don't know why more sci-fi movies don't do that, where they land and they go, take us to
Oprah's
Oprah.
Down with everybody, right?
Right, exactly. All right, let's go to
Oprah's Down with everybody.
This is Skyaletta Ramona. Skyaletta Ramona. Hello, Dr. Tyson.
I'm sure that is not what she calls it. Something tells me that's not how it's pronounced, but go on.
I'm sure it's not, but but she'll figure it out.
That's not what kind of you figured out. You'll know who the hell this is,
Right.
you.
Like if I was on this, if I put a question into this show and it said we got Buck Rice from New Jersey, I'd be like, hey, that's probably me. Chuck messed it up. That's probably me. All right. This is Skyaletta from Hawaii. She says, hello, Dr. Tyson and Lord Nice. Do you believe that particles are point-like in particles or string-like as in string theory? Also, I heard from Brian Greene that string theory required 10 dimensions for the math of string theory to work. Is that so, and why? That's a lot. That's a lot in that question, Skylar.
That's a lot.
God.
Man,
that's the rest of the damn
to distract you in Hawaii?
I know. Should you be surfing?
Should you be doing
Should you be out on the North Shore right now, just chilling, sucking on a coconut drink and watching a sunset? You talking about string theory and 10 dimensions. Jesus. God. Damn.
Okay.
Good stuff, though. Good stuff. I mean, that's the rest of the show, to be honest, but, you know.
Okay, so here's the thing. Of all the particles have a known size except electrons.
Ooh.
Electrons have no known size. They are smaller than our greatest efforts to ever measure how small they are.
Oh my God. I didn't
So as far as
that.
we're concerned, they are infinitesimally small. Infinitesimally small.
How is it that I did not know this all this time we have been together? That is a fascinating fact.
This?
I did not.
Yeah, there's no known dimension for electrons. Correct.
Get out.
Correct.
Fascinating.
Correct. Plus, while we're there, every electron is identical to every other electron. So if I have a wire filled with electrons, okay, and I stick one electron in the back of where I am, and this wire goes to, I'm in New York and you're in LA, I put an electron in the back. That one, the negative charge will push the other one forward, and it'll keep doing that until an electron pops out the other side. And as far as that person is concerned, I sent them my electron.
Amazing. That's really cool.
Even though my electron is still back here.
Oh my God. I just
like the distinction is not.
That's awesome.
That's why electricity works.
Right.
That's why I can send you a message. You get it instantly. Right. It all goes by electrons over wires, and all the electrons are identical. And I put something here, it pops out the other side, and there you have it. Did the electron actually go from New York to LA? No.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, Chuck, I didn't finish answering the question, but we got to take a quick break. But when we come back, we will talk about how and why and where electrons are strings. Maybe strings. Then StarTalk continues. We're back. Cosmic Queries, beginning of the year edition. Trying to spin positive thoughts onto all that has brought us down in these past 2 years. Entering our third year in the coronaverse. Ooh. They're knocking out the Greek alphabet there. We're up to Omicron, dude.
Well, when we get to Omega, kiss your back. Oh, never mind. Sorry.
That is the end of it all.
I was about to say.
No letters left.
I was about to say, kiss your black behind goodbye. But I was like, let me chill out. Yeah, but when Omega, that's it.
That's it. When you get to Omega, the Greek letters, the Greek alphabet can't help you.
That's it. Game over, baby. Game is over.
I'm pretty sure COVID-19 doesn't know about how many Greek letters there are in the alphabet.
Yeah,
I don't think it cares about that.
No, I don't think it cares either.
All right. We left off with a question from someone who should be distracted by other things in Hawaii. What's this person's name?
That's Skyaletta.
Skyaletta, last name?
Ramona.
Skyaletta Ramona, writing from Hawaii, is distracted by string theory.
Clearly, it's another crappy day in paradise.
Okay. So back to string theory. So we have several fundamental particles. Electrons are among them, quarks, photons. The antimatter counterpart to an electron is a positron. Okay, so what string theory suggests is all particles are strings that vibrate differently from each other. So an electron looks different from a quark or from anything else because of the nature of the vibrating string, because of how the string is vibrating. But it would mean everything is just made of strings, right? So that simplifies it. We're not made of multiple different particles. We're made of one kind of string vibrating differently. Now, the point is that exists in a higher dimension. But as we experience that string in our lower dimensions, those vibrations manifest as these particles. So it's not like, is the particle just a point or is it a string? The whole point of the string, the whole feature of the string is that it is a string in higher dimensions and a particle in your dimensions.
That's awesome.
That's how I
like the idea of the whole point of the string. Anyway, that's okay, cool. Well, great question, Skyaletta. All right, that is
Chuck, give me more.
Here we go. Let's go with Edward Trahan. And Edward says, hello, Neil. Hello, Chuck. My question is, if humans were to build a massive object in space, let's say just the size of the moon, would it generate a gravitational pull? If so, would it depend on what materials would it be made of and what shape it was? Or is there a certain size threshold? What is it that would give it gravitational pull?
I love that. Great question. So first of all, if you're going to make something the size of the moon, you need that much mass, kind of. Okay, so where are you going to get it from? So what you could do is get it all from the moon, and then our moon would disappear, and then you just create another moon. So what did you gain by that?
Right.
The moon is actually is about 1% of the mass of the Earth. So if you wanted to hew forth another 1% of Earth's mass and put it up there in orbit, you can cart it out there. Yeah, just put it out there and just keep adding to it. And you can just keep building and building and building. And we can watch this moon construction project in orbit around the Earth. And yes, the gravitational field depends on only two things: how much mass it has and how far away you are from it. And that will tell you how strong the gravity will be at your location. But for your gravity on the surface, it depends on what the density of the material is that you use. So the moon's density, Earth is a combination of rock density and metal density because we have a metal core. The moon doesn't have a metal core. So depending on how dense the material is. But yeah, you can build up stuff and create a whole world. And yes, it will have its own gravity. And you want to build a shape that's not a sphere. That's very hard to do above a certain size, because the gravity will make the high places low and fill in the low places and make them high. So that's why large objects are all spherical in the universe, large sort of solid objects. So
yay.
Yeah, you can't make a cube the size of the moon. It won't maintain itself in that shape. I don't know if you knew that.
Cool.
If it's small enough, it'll take on any shape. If it's small enough, that's why if you look at tiny asteroids, they look like Idaho potatoes. They're not spheres.
Right.
They can be all kinds of weird, funky shapes. Because above a certain size, gravity becomes more important than the things that are otherwise giving shape to it. And gravity wants all parts of that object to come as close to the center as possible. And if you're high up and there's a ditch near you, it's going to take stuff that was high up and put it down in the ditch to bring it closer to the center of the object. And so there you have it. You said, well, how about our mountains? Like, okay, Mount Everest, really? Okay, it's about 5 miles up, really? You're that's what you're thinking about? Well, how big is 5 miles compared to the 8,000 miles of Earth's diameter? 5 miles on 8,000. So Earth is basically perfectly smooth. If you're a giant and you came up to it with a finger and rubbed your finger across, you would not notice the mountains, the valleys, the lakes, the oceans. In fact, if you shrunk Earth down to the size of a cue ball, it would be smoother than all cue balls ever made. Just saying.
Nice. Okay. Oh, well, that's a very interesting game of billiards. That's all I can say.
Yeah. So you're gonna make a moon. If it's big, it's going to be spherical. Deal with it.
There you go. That's very cool. All right.
Give me more.
I know we are getting tight. Here we go. This is Brandon. And
let me say, wait, I'm supposed to say nice things for the new year. I'm supposed to say nice things for the new year for every question. So if you want two moons, that would be doubly romantic. How do you like that? Like the moonlight.
Yeah.
That'd be beautiful.
And
over here, you'd have a crescent moon, and over there, you'd have a half moon. And that would just be, that'd be beautiful.
That would be. Sweetie, let's take a walk by the moonlight. You know, there's always moonlight, okay? Always. You're not doing anything special. There's always moonlight. Okay, here we go.
Okay, I forgot about that.
This
yes,
is
receptive of you, Chuck.
This is Brandon. He says, "Hey, Neil, I have been a fan for years. You actually helped me get interested in space along with your book, The Universe in a Nutshell. My question for you is, why do you think there is so much skepticism and belief about the moon landing? Scientifically, there's more evidence to support that we went than there is to say that we didn't, yet there are still naysayers and skeptics. With all the footage, audio, documents, etc., do you think there's any believable way they could have faked it?"
Oh, man. Okay, so first of all, I think there is a book called The Universe in a Nutshell, but I didn't write it. Okay. Okay. So I'll just put that out there. If we're talking about truth in advertising,
Wow.
If we're talking about what people believe and what they don't believe, I think there actually is such a book. I didn't write it. The book you might be referring to is what's it called? Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. That could be the book.
Yes,
that you're thinking.
That's what he's talking about.
But so my take on the moon landing, and we got to end on this question because we're okay. I take too long to answer all this. So my take on the moon landing is how amazing it is that we live in a time where our science and technology is so advanced that people living among it remain in denial of what those advances can bring to us. For me, it's evidence of how advanced we are. What a compliment. That's how I mean, it relates to Arthur C. Clarke's edict. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Right.
So if you don't know or understand how advanced these technologies are, it will look like magic to you. And you're not going to believe that magic is real, so you'll have to say it's faked because you know Hollywood is really good at faking this stuff. Again, these are very high compliments for the technologies that we have. So plus, we went to the moon 9 times. So if you think we faked it, you'd have to think we faked it 9 times. Okay.
Right. And people know that only happens in marriage.
No, stop, Chuck. This is the new year, Chuck. Say nice things, Chuck.
That's right. Nice things.
So I've stopped chasing down the people who are technology deniers because I know what the technology is. I know how we make it happen. Yeah, it costs a lot of money. We spent a lot of money. And by the way, you can calculate how much fuel is in that Saturn V rocket when it launched. If you do that, this is enough fuel to take the lunar module, the 3 astronauts, into orbit, leave orbit, go to the moon, orbit the moon, return to the orbit, come back and land. That's how much fuel is in there. So where the hell did they think that thing was going? You saw it launch. That was real. What do you think it was going to Piggly Wiggly to pick up some groceries? No, that sucker was leaving Earth. So if you do the math, you end up less stupefied by the things the math empowers in modern society. That's all.
That's a mic drop, baby.
Mic drop?
That's a mic drop.
This is Cosmic Queries, 2022.
Yeah. let's jump into JMax479. And JMax is, my real name is Jason M. from Bentonville, Arizona. And he says, hello, Dr. Tyson. Please remind us of plans to return to the moon or plans for moon habitation or maybe a moon space station. Are those things relevant?
Relevant?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a loaded question. Like, relevant to what? To us, to the future, to itself, to... See, you know what's good about the moon as a target, even though we've been there before, right? I'm sure we'd all get excited if we landed there again. And we would be really irritated if somebody else lands there again before we do, all right? But I can tell you this, that the moon, you can get there in 3 days. That's a news cycle, right?
Right.
You can launch today, get there by Friday, or whatever it takes.
Right.
Get there within the week. You can track it. You can do your business on the moon and then come back. And all that happens over a time period where no one loses interest in your journey. So I don't mean to speak of it on such crass terms, but the reality is public support is fed by media interest. And if the media can stay attached to what's going on over that appropriate time interval, I think it's win-win for everybody. So trips back to the moon with human beings, yeah, I mean, they're in NASA's sights. I always think the timelines are a little more optimistic than what is real, but who am I to say? All right, but the Artemis mission is an architecture of rockets and capsules that'll take human beings back to the moon, and I don't see why that won't just continue within the NASA budget that's already been allocated. So yeah. Now, what was the last part? What is its value? What was that last?
Yeah, well, space stations on the moon. Moon habitation, would those things hold value? Are they relevant in any way?
Are they relevant? Well, if people are interested, they're relevant. If you're not interested, it's not relevant to you. By the way, a whole lot goes on in the world that you might not be interested in. That doesn't mean it shouldn't happen because it actually interests other people, right? So I don't have a problem with that. And at some point, you'd want to attach to private enterprise. There could be some interesting journeys. Would there be, Disneyland on the moon? That'd be weird and initially a little sad, but then you say, yeah, of course, that's what's it's going to be. All right.
So is there any resource on the moon? I remember once, just give me a second here. I don't want to screw it up. You said that the moon is bombarded all the time with helium-3?
Yeah. And once again, you have not earned the right to ask a question, even though you're my co-host. But I will address this, and I'll dovetail it into the actual Patreon members' question.
Okay, good.
So in the solar wind, these particles this effluence from the sun that leaves the sun continuously. The sun is losing mass continuously to these outer particles, the solar wind, and we call it the solar wind. It's pretty accurate to call it that, actually.
Nice.
Because they're particles that come from, you can't see them, they're small, they're fast moving. These are the particles that hit Earth's atmosphere and render it aglow, and you get the aurora. And you get especially good aurora when you get solar flares aimed at Earth, because then it's intensified. So some of these particles are helium, the helium nucleus minus one of the neutrons. So a red-blooded helium nucleus has 2 protons, 2 neutrons. But you take away, so that's helium-4, because there are 4 particles. Take away one of them, you get helium-3. Okay. So what? BFD. The point is, if you harvest the helium-3, which is embedded in the soils of the moon, it's not really soil, it's called regolith. It's like pulverized rock. Soil on Earth has like microbes and things, and that's what we mean by soil. None of that is on the moon, but I loosely call it soil. It's embedded in the soils of the moon. If you remove that, you can put that into a nuclear fusion reactor, and helium-3 is one of the intermediate steps of going from hydrogen to full up helium-4. And if you supply it with that, oh my gosh, it's a game changer for your thermonuclear fusion reactors in terms of the cost-benefit calculation you'd be doing for it. So I'd be disappointed if we had colonies on the moon that didn't undergo nuclear fusion as their energy source to power the entire moon, because it's free sitting right there in the soil.
Oh, that's okay. That's very cool, actually.
There it is.
So there you have it, man. That you did tie it
and good
back
memory,
to the question.
Chuck. Good memory, Chuck. Yeah.
Yeah. I was throwing a dart at a board, but it actually.
Okay.
No, I'm joking.
By the way, and one thing about colonies.
Yeah.
You know, if there's Disneyland and there's, there have hotels and restaurants and, parades, whatever. I mean, why not? I mean, I don't see any problem with that. And
I don't know about that. It's kind of, I don't know. I feel like we're somehow sullying the moon, like our presence.
Chuck, you know how big the universe is?
I feel like we sully the universe, to be honest. It's like,
by the way, here's something for you, buddy. On the moon, helium balloons sink.
oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a little thing. They only rise up because they're more buoyant than the air that surrounds them. If you go to the vacuum of the moon, your helium balloon will fall as fast as a brick will.
That's great.
On the moon.
That's
your helium balloon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we sully the universe. I have a thought where in every sci-fi movie there's a planet that's destroyed, and then whoever's watching becomes the last of that species, and it's just like, I watched my planet destroyed, right? And I'm like, if it were Earth, and they'd be like, Chuck, man, you just saw your planet destroyed, and be like, yeah. I mean, you got to know those people. And maybe it's not that bad of a deal.
Chuck. We're supposed to have happy thoughts at the beginning of 2022.
That's true. Exactly.
I have a happy thought for you. I got one ready. So this is an oldie but goodie, but I got to say it, right? So, if you do have a whole colony, you'd have all the trappings of what you'd have on Earth, except on the moon. But you'd have to if you go to the restaurants, the food would be very different because you're in less gravity and less air pressure. And so if you want to sort of know about those restaurants, however different the food will be, what you know is they won't have any atmosphere at all.
Oh my God.
Okay. That's stupid, but it's fun. Okay, what else?
All right, Tim
Time
Jackson.
for just a couple more questions. Okay, go.
Tim Jackson says this, with the ever-increasing commercialization of space, how is NASA positioned in the role of the space community, and how is it changing? What are some of the upcoming missions that may partner commercial enterprise along with the missions of NASA?
Let's set the record straight. NASA has always partnered with commercial industries. Right? The LEM that landed on the moon was designed and built at Grumman Aerospace right here in Bethpage, Long Island. All right, I'm speaking to you from New York City. You go to Bethpage today, people still walk the streets proud that they had an uncle, an aunt, somebody who worked for that LEM. All right, and so it was partnered. So we paid for it. Grumman built it. Okay, so we partnered with private enterprise from the beginning. The difference is we had specs that they had to be built to, and so Grumman is sort of responding to NASA in what it produces. That's different from what SpaceX is doing. SpaceX says, I'm building a rocket whether you like it or not. Oh, I have a rocket and I can launch satellites. And NASA says, hey, you could do it on the cheap and we got to launch this satellite. We want to buy your payload for that next launch. So it's still a commercial partner. The difference is NASA's getting it off the shelf rather than a one-off, which is what the LEMs were. They were just one-offs for those missions. So the partnership has always been there, okay? And the United Space Alliance, and it's gone through several different incarnations with names, but Boeing has been a part of that. Lockheed, later Lockheed Martin has been a part of that, from Martin Marietta, before they merged. So there's a long history of this. So here's the difference. You need NASA to do the frontier stuff that doesn't yet have a profit motive. It has geopolitical value, but nobody can make the money on it just yet because there's a risk factor they don't know about, and what do they do, and why, and how would they? The governments do it. We find out where it's safe to land, where it's not. All that gets figured out. Private industry comes in afterwards. So that's why we now have private industry taking people into orbit. It used to be just NASA. And now it's SpaceX taking astronauts to the space station. Let's do it that way. Because if you're private enterprise, you could probably do it for less. But NASA doesn't have SpaceX doing a frontier mission on Mars if it's a one-off. That's not a business model. And all research typically are one-offs. The James Webb Space Telescope, that's not on somebody's shelf.
Right.
That stuff got built from scratch, okay? And so that's what you need NASA for, the frontier. The rest of that, private enterprise brings up the rear, and that's how it was with the early ages of exploration, where governments sent the explorers, and then later on, the Dutch East India Trading Company made a buck off of it.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, so there you have it. Private-public partnerships, hand in hand.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Always.
Always, yeah.
Always.
That's how, as it can be, as it has been, and as it should be.
Okay.
So, Chuck, we hardly have any time left. This is the beginning of the year. Can I offer you just some personal reflections?
Always, yes.
Always, okay.
I miss your personal reflections because we used to do it all the time when we did your cosmic perspective.
But cosmic perspective,
but we stopped doing your cosmic perspectives.
Stopped doing it. Okay,
I don't know why.
Let me hand you one right now. You
okay.
Ready? Okay. We've been through some very challenging years.
Yes.
With the coronavirus, the COVID-19 virus. And I was early out of the box on that one with a tweet. On March 6th, 2020, I said, this is a virus that doesn't care where you live, who you pray to, who you have sex with. None of that, it doesn't care about any of that. It just cares that you're a human. And so to combat this, we need coordination internationally across tribal boundaries, as we've been expressing them in modern times, to fight a common enemy. It's almost like an invader from space. It's not from space, but it's like that. The aliens just want to kill all the humans. We have to band together, and we didn't. And that upsets me as a member of a species that has the power and the knowledge to have done something about it. So for this year, the 2022, I want to believe that people will see and understand and recognize what value science has, not only to our ability to thrive, but at its most base level, our ability to survive. Science tells us what's around the corner and why and how dangerous it is and what we can and should be doing. And you know what space exploration does for me? When I see the NASA docket for 2022, I say, yes, we're going to try to deflect an asteroid and save humanity in doing so. We're going to go back to Mars, a neighboring planet. We're going to do these things, and it's a reminder of how great we are as a species. How great we are as an intellect. And so what a shame to have this intellect and not invoke it in the best ways we know how. So I look forward to 2022 as a way where humans are back on the map, showing the universe how smart we are, so that we become better shepherds of our own fate as we move forward in this century, this millennium. That's a cosmic perspective. Chuck, thanks for being here.
Man, that's beautiful, man. That really is.
I'm screaming at you here. I'm just feeling.
No, you're not. No. Well, when you raise your voice in a positive tone, it's not screaming. It's just it's excitement. It's not screaming.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yes, yeah. If you were saying Chuck go to hell, that'd be screaming. That would have been screaming.
All right. We got to call it quits there. Happy 2022 to everyone. Star Talk is still strong. We're at it, and we've got more of the universe to bring down to Earth. Much more of it coming soon. I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist. As always, and forever, and for this year, and forevermore, keep looking up. This is StarTalk. This is StarTalk, and I'm your host, Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist. I work at the American Museum of Natural History in New York City, where I serve as director of the Hayden Planetarium. And today, I have with me my co-host, Chuck. Nice!
That's right. Hey, Neil.
Chuck.
Good to be here, man.
Always good to have you.
It's always my pleasure.
And you're wearing your official NASA uniform?
Yes, without a doubt. I figured this was appropriate attire for what we are doing. That, and it's the only clean.
Thank you. That's right. Making that clear. So this is a Cosmic Queries edition of StarTalk.
Yes, it is.
And in this Cosmic Queries, we're going to be talking about the science of war.
Yeah, man.
Ooh, science of humans at war.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, man, people are obsessed with this subject.
I don't understand how. I don't get it.
I have never received the breadth of queries.
Because you solicited questions on this topic already.
Yes, we have solicited questions from all over the internet.
I was told this morning that this would be the topic, but you've been scheming all week on this.
All week long, we've been receiving questions, and I have to tell you that people are very passionate about it, and they're doing a lot of deep thinking.
Okay.
Some of the questions, I'm like, you were clearly high when you wrote that question.
Right.
You had to be high to write that question.
Because I don't have any. While
you don't get to see the questions.
Plus, that's true. But though I be a scientist, I have no particular expertise in this topic.
Right.
Okay, so I figured, then they plunked a book down in front of me called Grunt, The Curious Science of Humans at War. So I said, damn, I got to read this book like in the next hour. But then they told me, no, Mary Roach, the author of the book, is here with us.
Yes.
From Oakland, California, Mary Roach. Yes. Thank you, Mary. This is not your first time on Star Talk.
No.
It's like your fourth time or something.
I think the four, yeah.
Yeah, you got like the coolest Star Talkian books we could ever find. So great to have you on here. So basically, these questions are going to be for Mary.
Yeah,
I'll be Mary's sidecar on this.
Right.
I could back her up with some physics if we need it.
Right.
But this is her book.
Yeah, for the most part, this is what people want.
And Mary, I'm not going to lie to you and say, I read this book, and I haven't read it yet. I just saw it like this minute.
All right, no problem.
Every other talk show host is lying to you when they said they read your book.
Oh, I know.
You know this.
I know. Okay. I haven't read it either. I don't remember what's in it. I wrote it a long time ago.
Right.
We'll see what
We'll see what the people say. And listen, like I said, some of the questions are out there.
But just before you go in,
go ahead.
Just an overview.
Yeah.
What is this subject?
Okay, so this is military science, but specifically not the weapons and the bombs and the strategy, which you may have a lot of questions there about that, when I will turn those all over to you.
Okay.
So this is the human...
Right, the human condition.
It's extreme heat and loud noise and
Right.
fear and panic and flies and diarrhea and all the things that people don't necessarily think about, but the military thinks about because it knocks soldiers out of commission. And anyway, so that kind of...
So it's all in here. So this is like this was your next project after all these other completely far-flung places you have been in your book portfolio.
Yeah, you'd think I would take a body of knowledge that I've worked on and build upon that so that I don't...
No.
I gotta start all over again.
Start all over.
Knowing nothing.
All right, so let's try this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, still before.
Okay.
What is the most weirdest scientific thing you can share with us about military grunts?
Here's
Just
the book starts
till the
out-
soil here first.
The book starts out with the chicken gun, and I love the chicken.
The chicken gun.
Because I like to say the word chicken whenever possible.
Right.
The chicken gun.
I think I know the chicken gun story.
Chicken
Do
gun.
you?
Yeah.
I have never. I don't
Have
think
you
I'm
seen a
familiar
chicken
with the
gun?
chicken gun.
Yeah, you're testing the canopy of airplanes of fighter pilots.
Okay.
Right.
So okay.
The chicken is a stand-in for your turkey vulture, your Canada goose, your starling, whatever it is. It's kind of a worst-case scenario because chicken. It's kind of an odd choice because chicken doesn't actually fly.
They don't fly, yeah.
You're not gonna, no matter how long you're a pilot, you are never going to
hit a
actually
chicken.
hit a
It's
chicken.
a bird, and it's readily variable at your grocer's.
It's consistent.
Right.
Yeah. So you take a frozen chicken, you thaw it out, you load the chicken gun, and you fire it at the the canopy.
Right.
Yeah. So
At the same speed that the plane would otherwise encounter it flying through the
flying
air.
through the air.
Right, but there were a lot of thought went into this because there's also because they're like, well, the chicken, this will be it's very dense, it's a big heavy thing, that'll be great. But in fact, there's something called, pause for drama, the feathered bullet phenomenon, which is
feathered bullet phenomenon.
Tiny little bird, starling
Right.
maybe,
Right.
hits the windshield, appears just like a bullet, right into the pilot. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so you think you have it figured out? Yeah, we'll use a chicken. And then
And then all of a sudden, a tiny bird comes through and shoots you in the head.
Well, wait, because the bird peers a tinier hole, and
Yeah.
it's a different kind of impact,
Exactly.
basically, that was not previously
It's a more
considered.
focused, it's closer to a bullet.
Okay, so to test this, they should just shoot bullets at.
They could do that. Chickens.
Sit here and let's see if the bullet hits you. With the canopy.
Ready?
Right.
Go.
Or find a finch that's packing.
Have a bird fire a gun.
Right, exactly.
Now, just 4 days ago, I was at Edwards Air Force Base, and I saw the canopy of the F-22 fighter, and it was large and beautiful. It was completely transparent. And what the pilots were telling me is that now it's not just a canopy to their side and to their front, it is completely around them. And so they have full, high-quality visual confirmation of anything that's around them.
Right.
And I said, shouldn't you be flying with instruments rather than relying on your own damn eyes?
Yeah, that's normally the pilot's way.
Oh, okay.
Rely
No.
on instruments.
That's what I no. If you're a fighter pilot, that's what I thought. But anyhow, let's get to. So that's a good, interesting example.
The chicken gun.
The chicken gun.
The problem I found out is that when birds and planes take off into the wind, so the birds are like, heading along. They're not looking behind, so they don't have a visual awareness to get out of the way. So that's a problem.
They're not looking at what's coming at them.
Right.
The plane's coming up from behind.
But for me, that's one of the most beautiful metaphors.
Do tell.
It's in life.
Here we go.
When the wind is against you,
Right.
remember that is exactly the condition
To take flight.
planes take flight.
Wow. And that is a beautiful metaphor. Right. Mine is when
And
the wind
Canada
is...
geese.
I'm sticking with the airplane here.
Right,
Look,
exactly.
why do you ruin my metaphor? So
I said chicken, and I chose the more lovely Canada goose.
yeah, the plane wants the highest speed it can be relative to the air. It's not about the ground.
Right.
It's about the air. So you take off into the moving air, then you can take off at a lower ground speed because your airspeed's higher. That's all.
Gotcha.
What's going
And the
on.
birds figured that out too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very intelligent.
So let's do this. Chuck, you solicited questions on this topic?
And we have them. And our first question is a Patreon patrons question, which, of course, if you actually support us on Patreon, then we will put your question to the top of the queue. And
Is that
give you
right?
precedent. Yes, as a matter of fact.
They're actually buying their way to the top of the thing?
I can think of no better way to get people to participate.
Okay.
Or to get votes.
Okay. Buy the votes. Okay.
but-
What's your first question?
So this is from Jeff Prime, who is a Patreon patron. And Jeff wants to know this from Omaha, Nebraska. My unit and I were deployed in Iraq from 2007 to 2008. I personally have known several men from my unit that suffer from PTSD while other members do not. With all other variables being equal, is there a biological reason why some soldiers handle war differently in a mental capacity that helps explains why some soldiers suffer PTSD while others do not?
Good one. Mary, what
It's
do
a
you have?
very good question.
One.
Very
yes,
good question.
and I do not know the answer.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
There you have it.
There.
There you have it.
And moving on. No, I'm
say-
joking.
Well, I can reflect on this fact.
There's probably a reason.
Yeah, I would think that if we knew that definitively, then we would be able to delineate why that is, and then look for a cure to PTSD.
No, what you-
Or keep those people,
keep those people out of
right, which
combat.
is what one of the things in the book was. They were looking at heat injuries, and there's a huge individual variation in who can acclimate to extreme heat, like who can feel like start sweating heavy and sooner, and there's like I can deal with this, and other people can't, and they get
Right.
heat stroke, and they sometimes die.
I'm pretty
They're
good in a
looking for,
wide
like-
range of temperatures.
Yeah.
And what I found is, could you put on the heat? Could you put on the heat? And I'm just kind of
Yeah, see, you're-
chilling with the cool.
Right?
No, I'm just,
You're self-regulating.
yeah, kind of. It's not that I don't feel hot or feel cold. It's that I'm okay with it.
No, you have a.
See, that's probably psychological. You just roll with everything.
I was
Maybe it
gonna
is
say, it
psychological
is.
rather than physiological. In either case, you
Right.
still want to know who's susceptible to PTSD and
Right.
who isn't.
Right.
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 And of course, there's that very famous scene. I only know it from the film. I assume it was true. With Patton walks into an
Infirmary.
infirmary.
Yes.
And there's these wounded soldiers there, bandaged, and there's one
Yes.
soldier who has no wounds at all. He's there in tears at the edge of the
Has
bed.
what they called back then shell shock.
Yeah, there's shell shocked.
And then combat fatigue.
And then it was combat fatigue.
And now
Right.
it's PTSD.
Now,
That's right.
PTSD, not when it wasn't enough syllables. You got to keep it. It becomes more real when you have more syllables.
Give us
People
an
then
acronym.
finally pay
That's an
attention to
acronym.
it.
Yeah.
So he bitch slapped
Yeah, he did.
the soldier, and this made it to the press that he had no sort of compassion.
Compassion.
Yeah, it was
Empathy for
or
this young
empathy
man.
for the and he
Right.
was saying.
'Cause he didn't bother him apparently, so he figured everybody else should.
I guess it was a day when psychological injury was
Right.
not viewed as the same as physical injury, whereas
Right.
today, so often,
Right.
this is how we do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
What else you got?
That's a great question.
It remains a great question without an answer available from this table.
You know,
I don't have an answer.
there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Now this one is really for Neil, Mary, and I'm reading it, Neil, because I'm not sure what this guy's talking about.
Okay.
Okay. And this is from Nick Sazfransky. Sazfransky. You think that's right? Sazfransky, right? Sazfransky.
Zafransky.
Sazfransky.
Look, if you start pronouncing
Vronsky.
names correctly, then we won't know what to do with you. Pronounce it however you want, and that's your thing now.
That's my thing. I don't.
Could be Zafransky. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Sazfransky, right?
Whatever.
Zafransky.
Okay, here we go.
I don't know.
This is what he says. I'm a young sci-fi writer and fantasy. I'm currently working on a hard science fiction book. My question is, how much do we understand, here's the thing, Neil, exotic particles? What, if any, effect they do have on the human body? And then he says, if you could put a blurb about my book, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to do the blurb about the book, but
Well, I think I have a way to link this back to Mary, but we have the portfolio of particles that exist, that have
Right.
been measured. They have
Right.
names, they have masses, they have, energies in different states and this sort of thing and half-lives. And so some particles just go straight through you, like neutrinos.
right.
Billions go through you every square centimeter every second from the sun, and they do nothing to us. They don't interact. What matters is if they interact with you. That's the difference. Okay? And if they interact, they could do damage. And so this is so if you want to weaponize a particle, you would make some kind of device that contains particles that will interact with your body in some way, mess with your DNA, mess with your skin, mess with whatever, and then that becomes a weaponized ray gun, basically.
So you make the particles a delivery system for some type of debilitation.
Correct. Now we do this for electromagnetic energy. So there's a movable microwave device, which is it's a non-lethal anti-personnel weapon.
Right.
It's non-lethal. So if there's a crowd of people, you drive up this truck, you aim this antenna at the people, and it's like you just put them all in a microwave oven.
Now, do you first get them to hold a burrito?
So they can eat it on the way. So
And you got to take the wrapper off.
exactly. So what happens is their skin starts feeling hot, and they want to go out of the beam.
So they scatter.
They scatter. So
Right.
this is how you can decentralize what might be a mob that's coming. Is there any discussion in the military about weapons, the effect of weapons on people that are not just guns, your traditional?
Well, there was, not in this book, but one of my previous books, there was infrasound. I don't know which book this was even about. There was this.
She's got so many books, you don't
I
remember
don't
which
even
book that
remember.
was in that she wrote.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's badass, actually. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it is pretty badass. It's
That's-
like, in some book that I wrote somewhere, I believe I
in there
said.
somewhere. So what you all do is like buy them all,
Buy them all, lay them out, she can point to it.
and you let
there
me
you
you
go.
let me know.
That's it. You buy them all.
Exactly.
Right.
So yeah, but infrasound, there was this talk about that the military was looking for a non-lethal weapon. I think it was. Supposedly it would. It was infrasound, and it was like long, slow way
Low frequency waves.
frequency, and that it would have the same resonant frequency as some of the internal organs. So it would create fear, nausea, terror. But yeah, it never.
This is like in Jurassic
never
Park
went anywhere.
when T-Rex,
Yeah.
like the liquid in the
Yes.
Right, and you see the vibration in the liquid in the glass.
right.
That type of deal.
Yeah, like they would launch a ball of infrared. But anyway, I could never find
That'd
it.
be a knob. There'd be T-Rex would be one of the settings.
Right.
Yeah.
By the way, the
Exactly.
military doesn't have to look for that. We already have it. It's called One Direction.
Yeah.
They're a boy band.
Well, there was some concern about, NASA had concerns about, because the engines were putting in a launch, they would be putting out tremendous amounts of infrasound, and they were afraid they were going to deliver jelly to the moon, that it was so that intense. But I think as it turned out, it wasn't.
But in fact, they do have what they call a sound abatement system, and before every launch, in the seconds before they ignite the engine, you see this basically a swimming pool's worth of water dumped onto
Whoa.
the launch pad. And the water absorbs the acoustic
Sound waves.
reverberations. That's right. They're worried that the acoustic reverberations would just completely tear apart
Yeah.
the entire bottom half of the rocket.
Right, like the singer with the glass breaking,
Yeah,
shattering.
exactly, yes. Except now, so what they do is they put in the water, that absorbs the energy, and that way the energy doesn't hit the rocket again. So next time, watch very closely every single launch. And they're big tanks surrounding launch pads, they're water tanks. Bada bing! And then the vibrations hit, it vaporizes the water. So some of the smoke you see coming out is steam, basically.
That's cool.
Vaporized by the energy, the acoustic energy of vibration.
That's amazing.
Give me one more question.
By the way,
Amazing.
that is the exact sound that it makes when the water is dumped. Bada bing.
Bada bing.
Awesome. It's awesome.
Bada bing. 3 words.
Give it to us, Chuck.
Okay, here's a quick one since we don't have a lot of time. Tech Advancement Through Wars from Maddie Stark on Facebook says this. How do you feel about the idea that war is necessary for technological advancement?
Ooh, let me cast that in a grunt question, okay?
Okay.
So how much has war advanced medicine?
A lot in terms of combat trauma. I mean, did stuff like, all right, you get somebody whose artery is cut and they've got about 2 minutes. So, get it in terms of
Minutes
getting
before they're dead.
before they bleed out and they're dead. Like 2 minutes to stop the bleeding, stabilize them, and get them somewhere. They've gotten really good at that. So emergency care, that's been huge.
And of course, the whole concept of
Also-
triage
Yeah,
is based
is a
on
war-based,
war-based
exactly.
thing.
And also things you wouldn't necessarily think about. There was a Navy guy, Captain Phillips, not that other Captain Phillips,
Gotcha.
but who came up with this discovery that if if someone's got extreme diarrhea, like cholera, where you're like losing 5 gallons of liquid. He even invented this thing, the cholera cot. It's a cot with a hole and a bucket. You're going to die quickly because you're just
Right. Just,
leaking.
Right.
You're leaking.
But so what has he invented? The
so he
bucket?
invented-
Why is that's not an
He invented,
invention?
well, the cholera cot was one invention, but not the important one. The important one was if you add glucose to the rehydration fluids, it enhances absorption of the fluids and the salt. So now you can drink them rather than hook up an IV. So in a third world country where somebody,
Right.
they don't have to make their way to a clinic and get hooked up to an IV. They can actually drink this stuff, and it's saved, millions of lives. Because it's still like two some million people die.
So here's a morbid question. You ready?
I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Have more lives been saved by the medical advances from war than lives that have been lost from the waging of war itself?
Wow.
Interesting. Well,
Wow.
okay, well, here's a figure for you.
This war is good for you people.
I know.
We have to kill you in
Yeah.
order to save you.
Let's go to commercial, and we'll cogitate on that question when we come back. Star Talk continues with our Cosmic Queries edition with Mary Roach, author of Grunt: The Curious Science of Humans at War. We're back. Star Talk. Neil deGrasse Tyson here, your host and your personal astrophysicist. We're doing Cosmic Queries. Love Cosmic Queries. Chuck, you're helping me out here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you solicited questions from our internet base.
Yes, we have.
And they knew in advance before I knew even what these
Well,
questions.
you never get to see the
I don't
questions.
even know what.
Even though we're not trying to stump you, that's not the
That's not the point.
It's
I
not
get
the
it.
point here is not to give you a question that you cannot answer, but it's to
I think that might be the point.
Maybe it's more fun for some people, not for me. I don't know. So Mary Roach is with us,
Yes.
and her new book just released. This thing still smells like
It's got new book smell.
New book smell.
You can buy that and spray it on your old
Get it for a
paperbacks.
few weeks, and then it's old book smell. The curious science of humans at war. And I left you with a question
Yes.
just before the end.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, given how many lives have been saved by medical advances from innovations during war, could one make the case, the morbid case, that the number of people who have died at war is less than the number of lives who have been saved by the medical advances derived from it?
Probably just from the dysentery and diarrhea statistics alone. I mean, you're talking, okay, so 2.5 million people a year, still the WHO, that's the figure for deaths.
The World Health Organization.
Yes,
Still, to this day.
Yes.
2.5 million people die from dehydration, from diarrhea,
A lot of them
cholera, or some
children
other.
in developing nations. So
Right.
that's a huge
2.5 million a year.
2.5 million, exactly.
Okay, so 50 million people died in the Second World War. It was the last number I checked. So 25 years of that. That's just the diarrhea alone.
Right. Plus you've
but they
got-
are dying. We didn't stop them from dying. So I want to know if lives have been saved.
Well, no, but she's saying that just the advancements that we've made to combat that may have saved a significant number of lives. Whether or not it balances, we don't know. But
Right, but my statistic that those they're still dying.
They're still dying.
Oh,
So what you're saying, that
there's a-
number could have been much larger.
Much larger, yeah.
Fine,
If
fine.
that's the number, they're still. But yeah.
That's the number that's still dying. It would have been huger.
Right.
Huge.
huge,
It would have been huge.
huge,
right.
just like my hair, huge.
Okay.
Huge.
Oh man,
Not like my hands.
But then, you know what? I recently saw a statistic on the number of deaths from car crashes versus like every year that there's been a military conflict, the number of deaths just from car crashes dwarfs the number from killed in whatever the war that's going on.
Okay, not the Second World War, but surely since then. Right.
No, since then.
Yeah, we lose 100 people a day.
Now, are they
That's
only
not-
are they
not-
only accounting American deaths, or are they counting the number of people? Because we tend to kill a lot more people.
Yeah,
than,
exactly.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I can tell you, it's 100 people a day on the roads. And at the peak of the Vietnam War, we were losing 100 servicemen a week. So it's basically a factor of 7 higher
Wow.
in cars than in military, not the First World War. I mean, not the Second World War. But here's something I tweeted recently: that Second World War, you run the math. We were losing 1,000 humans per hour.
Wow.
1,000 per hour died at the hands of another human being during the 6 years of the Second World War.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
However, the Mexican-American War, 7-to-1 ratio, disease to combat injury, dysentery, diarrhea, malaria, 7-to-1. Of course, it's Mexico and diarrhea; they're always going to be linked.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's so
Poor
true.
Mexico, even back then.
Even back then. Don't drink the water. Back then.
Yeah. So there was that quote, William Osler: "Dysentery has been more fatal to soldiers than powder or shot."
Ooh.
Wow.
That's even as good as your chicken metaphor that you let loose earlier.
That was not. All right, Chuck, what else you
Okay,
got?
here we go. Let's move on. This seems to be a big theme that people want to know about, and this is from Aaron Heron Filth. Okay, that's the name.
That's how you're pronouncing the name, but go on.
No. Filth.
Let me have fun with how you can't pronounce stuff.
Okay.
All right, go on.
And maybe he
It's
just wrote it.
filth.
Maybe that way wrote it that way to mess with me.
All right.
Here we go. Hi, Neil. Really love the show. Keep it up. My question is, in recent films such as Civil War, we're talking about Marvel Comics Civil War, we see genetically advanced soldiers like Bucky, who is a character, Captain America's friend. I'm sorry, I'm translating as he asked the question. And the Winter Soldiers, also part of the genetically modified soldiers. Could super soldiers eventually become a reality? If so, what are the biological implications of doing such a thing? Greetings from Mexico City.
Whoa!
Yes.
This is a show for you.
Wait, so Mary,
Go to Mexico City. It's supposed to be great.
Mary, are there studies of have there been attempts to modify the human physiology in war?
I saw this amazing paper, DARPA. You know, DARPA. DARPA's the way outside the box.
Defense Advanced Research Project
Yes,
Agency.
yes. It was a paper. It was speculation. It was not projects that are underway, but they were listing like.
Right, one of the whole points of DARPA is to have highly speculative research that could break open a whole new field of military might.
So this was in particular modifications to the human body. What could we do? And inspiration from the animal kingdom. So they were looking at unihemispheric sleep, which you have in marine mammals and in some geese and ducks. And where what
Sleep with one eye open.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So they funded some research, so some basic research into marine biologists and bird people. Ornithologists would be I guess the word.
I call them bird people. Yeah, okay.
Look into
Bug
this.
people, I call them bug people.
Okay. Yeah, the bud people have probably been doing some work too. But just looking into like how does this work, and could we foster this and somehow make our soldiers able to sleep? Because sleep deprivation is huge, and it affects your performance, your military performance. So if there were a way to sleep with one half of the brain and keep the other eye open and make sure nobody's sneaking up.
Then you swap brain halves.
Then, yeah.
Presumably both halves need.
Like sharks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So it was that. It was an amazing list. There were things like the human llamas, or could you somehow have more hemoglobin for mountain warfare? Could you make somebody able to kind of Sherpa-ize them quickly to be able to breathe, to function better at high altitudes? I do remember. Surgically installed gills was on the list. Whoa.
Okay. Now see,
Yeah.
that's
That'd be like Waterworld right there. Wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly. Waterworld.
Does Kevin Costner know about this?
That's right.
We're going to work on. We're going to try him out first.
When he came around his neck and you saw the gills
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah.
So here's my take on that. Not that anybody asked, but I'll tell you my take. In the early days of space exploration, there was all this talk about modifying the human physiology to accommodate the stress and strain on our body in space. And in almost every case, they came up with an engineering solution to the problem rather than a biological one, where it therefore was not invasive to the human body. They would talk about, is there some pill you can take where the brain would not require as much oxygen when you do a high G turn out from as a fighter pilot might when they're turning around, and that way your brain wouldn't need as much oxygen and then the engineers just developed these suits
Right, where they just squeeze your leg.
squeeze your leg, blood ain't got no way to go.
Right.
Right. So many of these are how about one where you don't feel nausea in 0 G, or you can just spin up the space station and create 1 G. So my do you want to make bulletproof skin, or just make Kevlar and wear a bulletproof vest? Right. So
I want the bulletproof skin. I'm just saying.
You're just saying.
I'm just going to go on record and say the bulletproof skin is what I would go for.
So I'm more Tony Stark on this. Give me
Either suit.
Give me the power, the money, and the brains, and we'll make anything we need.
Okay.
I will be able to fly.
That's cool. That's cool.
All right, what else you got?
All right. Johnny Glasgow from Facebook says, "Hi, Neil."
That would be Facebook. Our followers on Facebook.
Our followers
Not
on
Facebook headquarters.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. Right. He's not actually having coffee with Zuckerberg right now. He says, "Hi, Neil. Hi, Mary. What scientific advances made during wartime have the biggest positive effect on our civilian lives today?"
I'm going to have to go with the medical stuff.
The medical stuff.
Yeah. The stuff we were talking about earlier.
Stuff we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
That is the most positive effect.
Positive effect, yeah, right. I mean, I guess you could talk about, if you taking forward the whole notion of drones completely taking humans out of the equation, but that's, it's got other issues, but...
The whole episode on Star Trek.
That was indeed where they fought the war through mathematical calculations.
Right.
And then people reported to a chamber for
Of execution,
annihilation.
because the calculation showed that you would have been killed.
You would have been killed in the
They just
battle.
walked in and they took him out.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That
Captain Kirk said, "No, you can't do that way.
Right.
That is not war. War is ugly and bloody."
Spock said, actually, though, statistically, I can see the merit to this particular approach.
That's cool. Yeah. So definitely the medical advancements is.
That's what comes to mind in terms of a positive, positive.
Okay, I would say
Now, are there any
would say-
technological
I would
advancements?
say one thing.
Go ahead.
The V2 rocket. was the very first intercontinental ballistic missile, which became the foundation of our entire space arsenal. So everything that we know and love about space, including where you get your weather maps from the Weather Channel. You get people saying, what do I need space for? I have my GPS and the Weather Channel. That's all I need.
Right.
That's like get your government hands off my Medicare.
Exactly.
That's what that statement
That's
is.
exactly what that is. So I would say,
but no, NASA. I mean, anything that's miniaturized, fire.
oh yeah, the entire miniaturized,
lightweight.
Well, that was NASA, not
That's
war.
NASA, I know.
That was,
There's probably there's probably.
war didn't have to miniaturize the way NASA did.
No,
because you have to launch it.
Well, then
every
again,
ounce costs you money.
Here's a war thing,
Right,
though.
that's right.
The first.
By the way, it's $10,000 a pound to orbit.
Oh, God.
So if you got a little extra gut,
Yeah,
I ain't flying that into
Right.
space.
There
You
you go.
get back on a treadmill.
So how about this? I believe the first computers were used to
Yes.
calculate the
Ballistics.
trajectory of
Bingo.
mortar shells.
That is.
Is that correct?
True. That is true.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
So-
Yep.
And now we have computers.
Right.
I mean, we know what they do now.
Yeah. So in fact, the military led the development of supercomputing.
Yes.
That's right.
Right.
Nowadays, it's commercially driven because the demand is there. But in the day, yeah.
Back in the day.
Right.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Well, not bad. Not bad at all. Okay.
What else you got?
Here we go. Okay, here we go. Well, you know what? This is kind of the same question, so I'm going to skip that. I'm sorry. Do vets of armed combat face a I'm sorry. Christian? Your last name, I tried to get away without this, but I'm going to try it. Here we go. This is from Christian Prisbilic. Okay, here you go, Mary. Take a look.
Now they're just messing with you, Chuck.
Look at
They're
that.
just messing with you.
Now, Christian, right?
We're the Joe Smiths out there.
Prisbilic?
Next time,
Prisbilic.
can a Joe Smith
Prisbilic.
please ask Chuck a question?
I know. Where's Joe Smith when I need him? Okay, Christian Prisbilic from Twitter says this. Do vets of armed combat face a disproportionate number of chronic health issues, and does race play a role or as well as class? So class and race, do they play a role in the chronic health issues that vets face? And do vets face more chronic health issues than anyone else by virtue of being a vet?
I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a tremendous amount. I mean, just starting with hearing. The number one VA expense, hearing loss.
Really?
Come away with. Yeah. I mean, it's not just rifle. Bombs going off in rifle fire. It's steady state noise. Like you're in a Black Hawk helicopter,
Right.
which is like 106 decibels, and you're in for right, yeah. And so and then they have hearing protection.
Chuck's
Thanks.
imitating a
Great
helicopter.
sound
Is he
effects.
like that?
I like that. Yeah. Can you do an M16?
Well, M16 is a little bit more staccato, so it's
The M16, the rifle.
Sounds like a duck.
I do. I'm
No,
not good.
but then there's the Huey from Vietnam. No,
Yeah.
it's like it
Yeah,
was a pulsing sound. So you're saying the
Yeah.
consistent,
Oh, right, because it's-
being persistently bathed in high decibel sound, even
as
beyond
bad,
just whether you were near an explosion.
Right, and the other problem is that when the noise, when things go kinetic, when there's fire, when there's there's no warning. You don't have time to go. Oh, you roll down my foam earplug and pull my outer ear back and put
Right.
that. There's just not time, and they're not going to wear that stuff all the time because you lose your situational awareness. You can't hear somebody shouting, "Get down! There's somebody over there!" So
They've tried to do that in some movies.
Well, they have, special operations is really cool. Bionic hearing. It's so cool. It's a headset, and it attenuates the loud noises.
So it changes the
right. So
range.
the loud stuff gets quieter, and the quiet stuff is
stuff gets louder.
amplified. So
Right.
you're like the bionic. It's like so you could hear across the room. You could hear a conversation.
Yeah, that was the eye. What you're doing.
Oh, was that the eye?
That was the eye.
That was the ear.
That was the ear.
Okay, I think you're right. Yeah.
Tammy Summers had
Amy
the ear.
Summers.
She had the ear.
And now she's selling mattresses. I know. Late night TV.
Can you hear me now?
So that's interesting. So
Anyway, yeah, but that's the biggest one. But then, you got like traumatic brain injury, and you got and orthopedic stuff. I mean, if you're in a vehicle, that is designed to withstand an IED going off, I mean, you'll survive. You survive, but you like the bottom of it would come up and slam into the foot and the pelvis and the spine.
Speaking of that,
kinds of just wear and tear on your body, even if you're not blown up.
So speaking of that, and this question is from...
So these are veterans that have been in combat,
Right. Yes.
not just
Yes.
veterans, generic veteran.
Right.
Because most veterans have not been in combat.
Right.
So
So do they have more? Well, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know,
we
but
presume it's combat veterans.
well,
I just
we
wanna
would have to
clarify.
assume because I'm going to say carpal tunnel doesn't count. I've been sitting at this desk filling out these reports for weeks. My wrists are killing me.
Actually, I have this book called Dear America, which is a collection of letters home from Vietnam.
Right.
That was collected before they made a Vietnam Memorial here in Lower Manhattan, and so on the memorial are subsets of these letters.
Wow.
The book is all of them.
That's cool.
And just to your point, Mary, these are letters from all manner of servicemen serving in Vietnam, and there's some talking about like their friends getting blown up in front of them and
Right.
and wading through the muck and mire and the mosquitoes.
Right.
And then there's another letter of someone who's in an office
Right.
in Vietnam saying, I can't, you know, I don't want to laugh, but it's so hot in here. It's almost 94 degrees, and the fan doesn't work. These working conditions are
unbearable.
terrible. It's like, do you have any fucking idea what's going on
Around you.
around you?
Right.
My typewriter keys are sticking. The humidity.
So I think
Horrible.
it's your biggest problem is your biggest problem. That's
Right.
really what that is.
Yeah.
Whatever your biggest problem is, that's your biggest problem.
Wow, that's cool.
Chuck, we got 2.5 minutes. How many questions can you squeeze into this?
All right, you know what?
Try it. Go.
Here's the deal. We're gonna go philosophical. Les Ollenhauser says, do you think there can be or ever has been something that can unite humans so effectively as war? What a profound question.
Mars mission.
Ooh, look at you with the Mars mission.
Landing a human Mars mission. I think everybody's going to tune into that, right? Don't you think? I don't know.
Well, so let me agree and
Go
add
ahead.
to that. So I've thought a lot about things that unite humanity.
Okay.
So one of them is war, which is the largest organized unification of humans that we experience.
Nothing mobilizes us like a good war.
Exactly. And what odd thing is that it mobilizes us against one another, but
Right.
it's nonetheless mobilizing. Another one is the Olympics,
True.
and another is the World Cup.
Which, by the way, is a metaphor for war.
Yes, it is, actually. And so, too, is the World Cup.
Exactly.
Except you don't end up dead at the end of it.
Right.
So the World Cup, the Olympics, and the International Space Station. When you look at the cost of the International Space Station, the number of countries involved, it is the greatest collaboration of nations outside of the waging of war.
Really?
You look at just the total investment that has gone in it, basically $3 billion a year plus. So yes. So I agree. Landing on Mars could do that if it's done as a
global
national
exactly.
consortium.
Is this done?
Which it would be, wouldn't it? I mean, don't you think?
It can be, but I don't have enough confidence
Yeah.
in the human species to think
Yeah.
that we wouldn't do it out of competitive urges
like
rather
the
than
moon,
cooperative
yeah.
urges.
So you're saying that if we make it a reality show competition between countries, we're more apt to go to Mars than if we were just to wait for us to finally
My
come together.
feeling is that your urge to be innovative is greater stimulated when you're in competition than when you're in cooperation. That's my feeling here.
Okay.
As capitalism at its best reveals, where
Right.
I want your money. I don't want you to give your money to the other person.
So now that competition drives me to be better than the other guy.
There it is.
Gotcha.
There it is. I think we're out of time. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, let me just so Mary.
Yeah.
Let me break ranks here and pull away from Chuck's questions.
Okay.
Is there one other thing you want us to know about your book before we end Star Talk today?
Oh, gee, it's a dark topic, but it's an interesting, quirky, fun read. I don't want people to get. I mean, war is serious, but the people in the military have a good sense of humor, and it's
You have to, I think.
you
yeah.
have
yeah.
to. Anytime there's death involved and life and death and all that, so it's It's fun. It's a fun.
And you interviewed servicemen?
I was on a nuclear sub. I was in Camp Lemonade.
They let you in?
It took me a year and a half to get on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, actually.
It was cool. Yeah, it was cool. So I was all over the place, and it's an interesting. It's a foreign culture, and like any foreign culture, it's just a really interesting place to go and to learn about. So.
Cool. Mary, thanks again for being on
Thanks.
Star Talk.
Thank you.
So, and so I want to be on your tour list every single time.
Oh, you bet.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you will never
I want to be like the only show that had every one of that damn books. Right here. We get them
You're
all.
6 for 6, so.
Well, we got to close out this part of the show when Star Talk returns. Chuck Nice and Bill Nye take over the studio for a segment of maker-themed cosmic queries.
Yes.
Brought to you by Google.
That's right.
Maker-themed. That's a whole new thing people are getting into.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool because they're encouraging people to be makers.
Yeah.
To innovators, inventors,
I think we had lost some of that over the last couple of decades.
Yes.
And it was nice to bring it back. And now it's IT-based for a lot of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Chuck, I'll look forward to that segment. I'm out of here. We'll see you guys next time on Star Talk. This is Star Talk.